Hello and welcome to CJC Adventures. I'm Carl and today I'm in Dudley and I'm going to take a look at one of the most sought after and wonderful sportsmen, footballer Duncan Edwards. Now Duncan Edwards was born in Dudley and we're going to take a look at some of the places where he lived, where he played, and we're going to discuss some of the history along with anything else we can find about this wonderful footballer. So sit back, relax, and I hope you enjoy this as much as I'm going to. Now, Duncan Edwards was born on the 1st of October 1936 right here in Morven Crescent, and he lived here with his mum and dad, Gladstone and Sarah Ann Edwards. Now, we did have a sister, Carol Ann, but she died in 1947. So we're going to take a look and see if we can find the house where Duncan Edwards was born, here in Morven Crescent, Woodside, Dudley. Let's see if we can take a look. Now that's the house, number 23, Morven Crescent, with the car on the drive. It's had a bit done to it over the years, but that's the actual one. This is a residential street, so if you do pay a visit, obviously, people will be watching you, but that's the house, 23 Morven Crescent. Duncan Edwards was born right there. Unbelievable, wonderful, really is unbelievable. Wow. Now, the next place where the Edwards family moved from Morven Crescent in Woodside, they moved here to the very scenic Priory estate, and this was the street that they moved to, Elm Road. And we're going to take a look at the house where Duncan Edwards sort of last lived. He lived in Dudley for the last time here. I'm going to take a look at the house now. The white house that you can see there, number 31 Elm Road, Priory Estate, Dudley, is where Duncan Edwards last lived in Dudley. He then moved to Gorse Avenue, and we'll discuss that now and then we'll discuss his career. Now this is Priory Primary School. Duncan attended here between 1941 and 1948. He's by all accounts a good student and really did love his work, but of course football came calling and that's what he loved the most, and as they say, the rest is history. But this was the school. A lot of it is still the same. It's still the same building, been done up a little bit, but that's where he attended. Now Duncan Edwards did attend a secondary school between 1948 and 1952, and that was Wolverhampton Street Secondary School, but unfortunately that was demolished in 1966. Apparently it's a car park, so there's actually nothing there to see anymore, which is a shame, but it's nice that the primary school is still there and still in condition, same building, and it's good that it's been kept as it was, and well known for hosting a wonderful famous footballer. Now this is the Priory Park. It's well known and well documented that Duncan Edwards did play here. He did play football here. Apparently, by all accounts, a lot of the neighbours complained about him kicking the ball up against their fence or their wall, and they'd say to his mum or his dad, "Please, can you tell your son to stop kicking the ball against my property?" But he was football crazy. He loved his football, and back then, footballers weren't paid that much. And if you think about Duncan Edwards, I mean, he wasn't that tall compared to most skillful players. He was 5'11" tall, and he played left half, and he nearly did play for Wolverhampton Wanderers locally, and he nearly did play for Aston Villa, but Manchester United came calling, and He played for Manchester United from 1952 to 1953, playing 177 matches, and played for England between 1955 and 1957. He played 18 times for England. You know, it makes you think what some sort of player he would have been. That's just immense at that point of his career, how many games he actually played. You know, and on the 21st of February 1958, they boarded a plane after playing in Europe. And after playing in Europe, they had to come home to play a friendly against Wolverhampton Wanderers, strangely enough. Unfortunately, after 2 attempts of takeoff, that plane came off the runway and crashed. Now, think of it what you will. Apparently it was slush on the runway, but honestly, no one really knows. They've done tests since, but what a tragedy, you know, awful tragedy to lose someone, you know, Duncan Edwards. And you know, it's, you know, 21st of February 1958 when it happened. It's been so many years ago, but of course of 2022 people still talk about it, and they always will. And you know, the year of 1958, of course, is always going to be etched on every sports fan's minds, you know, of what happened. Such a one, you know, awful tragedy, you know. Munich, Germany, of course, they pay tribute as well to what happened, because that's where it obviously happened. And you know, I mean, Duncan Edwards, he actually went on to survive for, you know, a good few weeks before he passed away, because of how fit he was, you know. I mean, everyone said he was the best player they played with. Playing for Man United, you know, he was obviously a real star of the day. So we'll move forward now and see what else we can find about the legendary former Manchester United, and always will be a Manchester United player, won't he? So, but yeah, I mean, he even said before he passed away, he even said, yes, what time was kick-off? And I believe he said that to Bobby Charlton. So yeah, just shows he loved his football. I mean, this was the actual pitch he used to play on. I'm not sure if these are the actual real goalposts. They do look quite old. Maybe, who knows? But he did play here on the Priory Park. Now this is St Francis's Church in Laurel Road, Dudley, and this is where the funeral of Duncan Edwards took place on the 26th of February 1958. Matt Busby was here, Bobby Charlton was here, all the surviving Manchester United players, football stars, you name it, they were here at St Francis's Church. It's a lovely building, it's the same building, and you can just imagine what that day was like for his mum and his family. It was an awful day, I imagine. But it happened right here. This was the road as well. And what the parking was like, I mean, back in those days it must have been hard to park, or I imagine they'd arrange there in advance. But yeah, St Francis Church, the funeral of Duncan Edwards.
It's not always easy to photograph stained glass windows.
I say them.
Sometimes it works better from outside, I'm told, but I'm not an expert.
I say them beautiful though. I really like that. That's wonderful. Oh, that's wonderful.
Colours don't always come out because of the light shining through it, that's the trouble.
That's the actual outside of the stained glass windows of Duncan Edwards. And a big thank you to the staff and the lady, the vicar, who very kindly let me in to take footage of the Duncan Edwards stained glass window, and a big shout out to everyone at St Francis Parish Church. Thank you very much. It's been very kind of them. She actually gave me these booklets, a tribute to Duncan Edwards, and Duncan Edwards, Dudley's football legend, so a big thank you again. It's wonderful, St Francis Church, for doing that and allowing me to do that. Now, those stained glass windows we saw was actually unveiled by Sir Matt Busby when he came back to Dudley in 1961 to unveil them. Wow. And we are now at Dudley Cemetery, the everlasting resting place of one of the Busby babes, Duncan Edwards. Let's go and pay our respects. Really is so surreal and sad to think what a wonderful player he would have been for England and our country. Rest in peace, Duncan Edwards. And there's Duncan Edwards again. Colour picture, second from the left. Wow. What time does. If you do ever want to pay a visit to Dudley Cemetery and see the grave of Duncan Edwards, there is a map, and there is maps all around. You can also find websites online as well, and it's listed when you do come in, so it is pretty easy to find to pay your respects. Now, one everlasting tribute is the road, Duncan Edwards Way. It was originally known Dudley Southern Bypass, and it's still known as that, but most people know it by its new name, which normally people do usually stick to the old name, but of course Duncan Edwards Way, an everlasting tribute. It's a busy road, as you can see. Now, as of 2022, this beautiful brand newly built leisure centre opened. It was opened by former Manchester United defender Dennis Irwin. He also played locally for Wolverhampton Wanderers. Well, he opened this as of 2022, an everlasting beautiful tribute. It's a lovely building, it really is, and it's really smart and brand new. Now, in the late 1990s, this beautiful everlasting bronze statue was unveiled further down the town in Dudley. That later moved about 15 years later. And it was originally unveiled by Bobby Charlton and Duncan Edwards' mother. And I remember the words she said, "Every time I come shopping now, I'm coming to see my Duncan." And I thought that was lovely, and that's something I'll always remember. Dudley was packed that day. We've moved here because more nearer the road, and you can see Duncan more easier now, which I think is nice. Now on the 1st of October 2016 it was noted that a blue plaque of Duncan Edwards would be unveiled by Sam Allardyce, but because he just left the England job, which he did only briefly, it was left to Bobby Charlton to return to Dudley for his old friend to unveil a beautiful blue plaque. Now Bobby Charlton also came here as of the 16th of February 2006 to unveil the Duncan Edwards Games area. This lovely sweet building. It's a cafe, nice cafe. It's not open today, it's open certain days, but that's of 3 times I know of him coming to Dudley with the statue, the plaque and the games area. So yeah, wonderful man Bobby Charlton. Beautiful place, Priory Park. Of course, you imagine Bobby Charlton stood right there. Fantastic. And that's it for this video on CJC Adventures. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. Click on the subscribe icon, click on the bell, and you'll be notified when the next video is uploaded. And for those of you who mainly done that, you know, you've watched, you've thumbs up and you've subscribed, thanks a lot. It means so much to me. Thank you. From Dudley, I hope you've enjoyed this tribute to Duncan Edwards as much as I have. Until next time, goodbye for now.
Nice little